received a lot of love and support, but a lot of logistical support. Websites were put together, meals were taken care of, kids were given rides places. So it was a big help to both Sarah and I as we prepared for medical visits, and even, Sarah's friends drove her sometimes to medical visits.
Kids would send her cards every single day in the hospital. This was a wonderful place to be, to go through a horrible situation.
There was always somebody you could pick up the phone and call, and we knew that. I think that's it. You just know that you have a support system there. Even if they're not in the house with us, they're ready and available.
It was done in the spirit of compassion. That people wanted to step forward and felt good about stepping forward because they cared. I think it strikes a personal chord in them. This community has been overwhelming, really, in its support of me and the family.
Once everyone found out in the community, especially with our neighbors, football friends, baseball friends, anyone that we could have ever come in contact with, really just rallied around us. I had people making me dinners, coming to, when I was so sick, my friends would come and just sit on the porch with me, and really started to realize how great Yarmouth was and how much support they would give anyone that, even if you did ask or didn't ask, they just, came out of the woodworks and just helped.
We got to know the nurses who took care of us in Boston really well, and we still communicate with them. We exchange Christmas cards and birthday cards, and the people that you meet along the way on this awful journey turn out to be these lovely people who are just wonderful.
And I met so many nice people there, that were worse off than me, and they just had such a great disposition and just really loved life. So those people that I went to chemo with and radiation taught me a lot.
It really changes the family dynamics. Everything has to change. Schedules, jobs, responsibilities. It takes a toll.
I'm pretty proud of our family. We've stayed together. We've managed to weather this storm.
I think it depends on who in the family is sick and what you kind of need. I think every family kind of has to figure it out.
We consider ourselves a pretty close family with Sarah, and I think we're even a closer family now. That's been a big gift for me, that we maintain and have become even closer.
Every Friday and all my appointments, we would laugh. Every time that we went to chemo, we would have fun. I wanted to, not be sad every time I went because I knew I was going to be sick.
My first filter with life is usually, one, is there something funny about it? And, two, what's positive about it? And that has, I really have lived, a charmed life.
I was perfect to have cancer. 1 in 8 women are going to get breast cancer. And I kept thinking, if I could name 8 friends, thank God I got it, because so-and-so's got a job, or this one's got the baby, or this, I kept thinking, boy, I'm the perfect candidate to get this. I can handle it right now. But there are people that couldn't, or, say that somebody had lost their job and then somebody gets cancer and they don't have the insurance. We were so lucky.
If I find out that someone's been diagnosed with cancer, I look at it, okay, well, you're going to go on this amazing journey. And they might be scared to death, which, is common, but I just tell them all the time, take one day at a time.
If there's one thing I could tell other cancer patients, it'd be like, don't panic. Get all the information first. It's not a death sentence.
Now I know that it really doesn't matter what you say. You just have to say something. You have to acknowledge it.
There are no magic words to say to somebody. But the important thing is to just, sort of open communication.
Be available to them, and don't be afraid to talk to them. Just be as upfront with them and ask them directly. And if they tell you they don't know, then just say, I'm here if and or when you need anything, that kind of thing.
There's no question in my mind that there is a very strong emotional component to healing. I mean, medicine is sort of it's clearer, more easily delineated. You can measure it. The emotional component is more difficult, but nonetheless, it's palpable to me, and it's been palpable to the family.
When we lose somebody very important to us, that we love very much, it truly doesn't go away. It truly stays with you, just in a very spiritual form. We just tried our best to present Sarah's life as a wonderful experience, as short as it was.
This whole cancer experience as being the most educational and enlightening experience I've ever had, just because of what we learned of ourselves as a family, what I've learned about friends.
Communication opens up more, and you're able to sit down and talk about subjects that you probably wouldn't have ever talked about, and you're able to experience more as a family, and I think it draws you closer together. And even though it was a bad situation, the outcome has been amazing. So you never look at life the same way. I don't take any day for granted. Basically, I want everyone to be happy. I see good in everyone, and that has really opened up my eyes.
I don't worry about the things that I used to worry about as much.
And there's actually a lot of upside to cancer, surprisingly. And one of the upsides is it brings out the best in other people. You see, their genuine, compassionate side.
I have nothing but wonderful things to say about this town.
Here in Yarmouth, I think it's because we have a huge communication network and people stay in touch. I mean, we've had moms groups for years, and the sports, you hear a lot of stuff because we interact a lot with our kids in sports.
There's a stability in this town, that's really, it's just comforting. And in this community, because it's because it's small. It takes something like this for that to become really apparent. People look after, the members of their own tribe. People here, react with just kind of a warmth and compassion that, you just don't normally see in, day-to-day conversational transactions. In a bigger place it would be more difficult. Here, it's almost tribal. Everybody kind of looks after their own.
I'd like to think the generous, loving spirit that Yarmouth has exists elsewhere. But I feel so lucky to have lived in a town that rallies around people in need the way they do. And you see it in so many other different forms here. People are very passionate about things that are important to the town. It's an incredible display of generosity and energy that I hope exists in a lot of communities. But it's been a great experience for us.
I do believe there's, spiritual energy sources, that we're all kind of tapped into. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm also comfortable, with this notion that, there's something, that my spirit, my Kentness, is distinct from my body, this vessel that contains it right now.
Death and demise is a very scary prospect. Yet at the same time, it's inevitable for all of us, and it does enable you, empower you to live the best you possibly can. And I think that's what our family has tried to do. We owe it to Sarah and ourselves to extend ourselves where we can help and live the very best lives we can.